Dear students, welcome to the new session of Standard 7 Science, Chapter Fiber to Fabric, Part 3. Dear students, in this chapter we are mainly discussing about the processing fibers into wool and the life history of silk moth. So these are the different steps. The first one, shearing. Second one, scoring. Third step, sorting. Fourth step, picking out burrs. And fifth step, dyeing of fibers, and finally fibers into yarn. Dear students, the first step, shearing. What do you mean by shearing? Shearing means it's the process of removal of the fleece from the body of sheep along with a thin layer of skin, and this process is simply called shearing. And another important point is that this shearing is done during the summer season, therefore it does not hurt the sheep, and also the uppermost layer of skin is dead in this case. That is why we are removing this fleece from the body of the sheep along with a thin layer of skin. It does not hurt them. So that is about the first point, that is shearing. And now the second point or the second step, that is scoring. Then what do you mean by scoring? Scoring means now the shed skin with the hair is thoroughly washed in tanks to remove grease, dust and dirt. And this process is what we call scoring. And after scoring, sorting is done. Sorting is the next step or the third step. And in sorting, the hairy skin is sent to the factory, and from the factory the different textures are sorted or separated. Then the next one, picking out of burrs. Picking out burrs means what? Burrs means what? The small fluffy fibers, they are called burrs, and which are picked out from the hairs, right? And these are the same burrs which sometimes appear on your sweaters. And after that, the fifth step, that is dyeing. Dyeing means what? The fibers then dyed into various colors. And finally, fibers into yarn. And here, the fibers are straightened, combed, and then finally rolled into yarn. And the long fibers are made into wool for sweaters, and the shorter fibers are spun and woven into woolen cloths. So dear students, these are the different steps that involved in the processing of fibers into wool. It's very important. You may please study the same. Clear? Yes. Dear students, next we want to discuss about the life history of silk moth. Before that, we want to discuss about the sericulture. What do you mean by sericulture? Sericulture means the rearing of silkworms or obtaining silk. That process is called sericulture. So these are the different steps that involved in the life history of silk moth. Let's start with the first stage, that is egg. We know that the female silk moth lay eggs, and from which the larvae hatched out. And these larvae are also called caterpillars or silkworms. Larvae are also called caterpillars or silkworms. And after this stage, they are moving to the next one, that is called pupa. It first views an egg to hold itself, then it swings its head from side to side in the form of the figure of 8. And during this movement of the head, the caterpillar secretes a fiber made of a protein which hardens on exposure to air and becomes silk fiber. Soon, the caterpillar completely covers itself by silk fibers, and this particular covering is what we called cocoon of the silk moth. And after that, the further developments, everything takes place inside this cocoon, and we are using this cocoon for obtaining silk fibers. Clear? Yes. Next, types of silk. The silk yarn is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. We know that the silk is obtained from the cocoon of the silk moth. Yarn means what? Yarn means thread. Actually, there are a wide variety of silk moths which look very different from one another, and the silk yarn is all different in textures. Textures are like coarse, smooth, shiny, etc. And different types of silk are there like tussar silk, mocha silk, kosa silk, etc. And these kind of silks are obtained from the cocoon spun by different types of moths. The most common silk moth is mulberry silk. Mulberry silk moth. The silk fiber from the cocoon of this moth is soft, lustrous and elastic, and it can be dyed in beautiful colors. So the mulberry silk moth, and the mulberry silk moth is the most common silk moth. Clear? Yes. So these are the ideas or the points that given in this session. Dear students, after watching this video, you may please go through the textbook clearly and write all the points that given in the textbook. Okay? Yes. Thank you for watching video.